CBS News political director John Dickerson. John, good morning.
Good morning, Charlie.
Put this thing in context for us in terms of what we are talking about and what we're not talking about.
Well, you know, it's a good point. Step back here. What we're not talking about in this sequester is the actual long-term drivers of this deficit problem. And so as people look at this fight, which is the 900th chapter in these constant fights over the budget, what's happening is a debate about dumb cuts to a portion of the budget, and everybody agrees they're dumb in terms of just being blunt, in a portion of the budget that really isn't driving the long-term deficit problem, and that those long-term costs are healthcare costs. And so if Washington can't agree on these fights, they really can't agree on those harder fights about long-term healthcare costs that are part of entitlements.
And what are the short-term gains and long-term gains that either party can get?
Politically, the White House thinks they have the upper hand. They think polling shows the president with a much better approval rating than Republicans in Congress. That's the short-term game. Polls would suggest the president has an advantage there. But in the long-term picture, economies tend to be talked about by the presidential terms. And what the White House worries about is this economy, which is struggling, would really take a hit if the sequester took effect over a long period of time. That, in the end, in history's eyes, not only would the middle class be hurt, as the president believes, but in history's eyes, that makes the Obama economy weaker, and that's not a great legacy item for this president.
So, John, with 9 days and counting and no talks scheduled on either side, do you think it's inevitable that it's going to happen?
It's inevitable we'll get to March 1st. The question is whether a deal will be something will be cobbled together after that. And we've talked about these budget fights as a game of chicken. It's really a game of uncle, which is to say which side is going to buckle to the pressure first.
And so who wins and loses in the blame game, with each party blaming the other?
Well, I mean, they both lose in terms of the country looking at them. The Republicans seem to have be losing more. They're trying to reorder the argument here and connect with people's fundamental feeling about the size of government. People, and especially with tax time coming, people paying these big tax bills and wondering what they're getting for it. That's the hope for Republicans. But so far, the polling has shown the president with a little stronger hand here.
John Dickerson, thank you.